Hi, I'm Ashley Profit, and earlier this week I shared a webinar on time blocking, and we talked about how important it is to set aside specific times during the day for specific tasks, and that as a result of time blocking, our our lives are just a little bit more productive. In an effort for me to be as productive as possible on my short work week. So I work in my office 2 full days a week, and then I work sporadic times on the other remaining days of the week. But my work week is relatively short in comparison to the typical 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. So I have to be super productive during that time. I have to nose to the ground, just get it done. And so time blocking has really helped me to do that. So setting aside specific times for specific tasks. And so we talked at length about that earlier this week in our webinar. And I just wanted to share with you really quick just my 3 biggest takeaways, my 3 biggest tips for how to effectively time block. And so my first one is to remove distractions. So kind of spend some time assessing over the next few days, set a period of time, say the next, for the rest of the week or all of next week, and assess and figure out what it is that really distracts you from doing the tasks that you're supposed to be doing at hand. And then begin to come up with solutions to eliminate those tasks. So for me, a very practical example is if I dive into email first, I'm going to be there all day. And so I don't ever actually get to my client's work. Or I don't get to the important tasks that need to get done. So I set specific times for email, and I do not start my workday in email. I actually, for all my client work, I use a program called Basecamp. It's a client management system that's awesome. I love it. There's plenty of options out there for you to do that if that's would be beneficial to you. I did that because I needed a way to remove a distraction. So before, I did everything with my clients via email, and I needed a way to get out of email so that I could really just 100% focus on them during their allotted time in my schedule. So that means when I get into work, first thing, when I have client work, I go to Basecamp. I don't go to email. So hopefully that makes sense. Another distraction for me is my phone. If my phone is right in front of me, I will check it every minute when when a file is loading, when a program's opening, when I'm waiting for something to save. And what that does is result in a major distraction. And we know the statistic that says that with every interruption, it takes about 23 minutes to refocus on the task at hand. And so, my encouragement to you is to eliminate the distractions that are keeping you from doing the task that you've set out to do. My second tip is to keep track of detailed tasks. So if you institute a method of time blocking into your day, so at 9 o'clock you do client work, at 10 o'clock you respond to emails, at 11 o'clock you have a meeting, at 12 o'clock you eat lunch, at 1 o'clock you do this, and so on and so forth. And so you have really pared down your day to chunks of time with specific tasks. If you do that, what that means is you're going to be moving from one task to the next to the next. And so most likely, many of those tasks are not going to have definitive ends if you are a service-oriented business. So like for myself, I do branding work for creatives. So that means if I allot client A an hour and I work on her project for an hour, we're probably not finished at the end of the hour. It just means I've worked on her project for an hour. So what that means is at the end of that hour, I have to make detailed notes so that when I jump back in at 2 o'clock or the next morning, I know where to pick up where I left off so that I'm scattered. So if I don't do that, if I don't have a detailed list of what needs to happen next, then I spend a lot of time trying to remember where I was. Does that make sense? So a detailed list of tasks. So if I'm on a phone call with somebody and I know I'm going to have to call them back at another time, or if there's going to be a follow-up conversation, I'm going to make notes. I have notes everywhere. Every single one of my clients have their own clipboard, and I jot down notes on all of that. So for me, that's a system that works. Find a system that works for you, but have a method of being able to jump from one task to the next when the time is up, so that you don't feel like you have to finish every project every single chunk of time. Otherwise, you're never going to get to the next thing. And my third thing is to just figure out when you work best, when you do your best work. So a quote that I love is by John Acuff in the book Start. And he basically says, was I giving my writing, which is what he was trying to get off the ground. He was trying to put all of his effort towards this. But he was saying, was I giving my writing the best of my time and the best of my creativity, or was I giving it the rest of my time and the rest of my creativity? So when you're time blocking, be very conscientious of when you work best and when you work like most creatively and most focused. If that's in the morning, schedule your hard work for the morning, like the thing that is really going to push your business forward. So for me, that means client work comes first. And that I don't love email, so I'm going to spend the afternoon hours when I'm feeling kind of like tired, I'm going to spend that in email because it's just a task. I don't have to like be creative. I can just knock it out. And then once I knock it out, because I'm a type A personality, I get a little bit of an adrenaline rush because I can check something off my to-do list. So those are my 3 quick tips. We will be having an encore presentation of this webinar coming up soon. So for details about that and to register, check the information below. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a great afternoon.